There are few people who have their daily work so tied up with Christmas as those who worked for the BBC. Not only the making of special seasonal programmes, but the challenge of actually working on the great day itself. For instance, the Queen's Christmas Day broadcast, at one time transmitted live. 2 sets of all the equipment, 2 lots of post office lines to Broadcasting House in London, 2 distribution systems to every transmitter, and at least 2 engineers on duty at each centre on the network, with 1 set of equipment running on batteries in case of mains failure. Nothing must prevent the Sovereign's traditional words from reaching everyone at home or abroad. And so it was, my first Christmas at the BBC, 1962, I was chosen by the senior engineer to be on duty with him. Very strange having to leave the family celebrations at 2 in the afternoon, travel the deserted streets to the studio centre, check the lines and the equipment, listen to Her Majesty talking for about 10 minutes, and then rush home to catch up on the crackers and pud, a job proudly done. And now we move forward to the 80s, and the threat of a BBC Christmas of a national strike. At 4 p.m. on the day before Christmas Eve, it was my sad duty, under those circumstances, to close down the local radio service at Pebble Mill and head over to London for a national programme to go out on all stations. And as I, along with 600 or 700 other people, trooped out of the studios into Pebble Mill Road, I was introduced to a blind lady who'd just arrived at the studios with a Christmas card and a present for me. A very distressing situation. All I could do was put my arm around this dear woman and escort her off the premises with everybody else. Mercifully, the strike ended just in time for the midnight service Christmas Eve from Selly Oak. But I've never forgotten Renee, who found herself in the wrong place at the wrong time. A not too happy Christmas at work that year. By great contrast, another lady, Maureen from Edgbaston, came to my aid on another Christmas Eve. I was presenting the tea time programme, 3 long hours worth from 4 till 7 p.m. The canteen, restaurant, as we were instructed, had closed for the holidays, and then, horror of horrors, the coffee machine had expired. For some reason I took it into my head to mention this on the air, and within 20 minutes this ministering angel turned up at reception with a flask of coffee and mince pies. We had our photograph taken, and Maureen and I appeared in the Birmingham Evening Mail after Christmas. Not so funny the next Christmas, I had to work on Boxing Day, and for all of us who had to face the day without a canteen, restaurant service, the ladies from there had provided us with a fridge freezer and a portable oven with all the supplies of food necessary. However, some bright spark had put the milk and the hard-boiled eggs into the freezer part, and they were absolutely useless. We liked to provide a service of worship on Radio Birmingham, WM, on Christmas Day, but the cost and organisation were just too great to carry it live, so we used to record it about a week ahead. 1 or 2 memories of the year we recorded Christmas Day at a church in Coventry. In order to help rehearsals, our engineers had installed a loudspeaker in the church, so that I, situated in the control van outside, could speak back to the congregation to give them any guidance or instructions. Our engineer Stuart had parked this loudspeaker behind the huge, well-decorated Christmas tree in the church, and so when I spoke it seemed as if this tree had magically found a voice. I was made aware of this, and so encouraged the singing by saying, "This is your Christmas tree here. Could you sing louder, please?" Talking of pre-recording Christmas, you may know that the old Pebble Mill studios were built in a square shape with a large central grass courtyard in the middle. Well, of course, eventually producers on the television side started to broadcast shows like Pebble Mill at 1 and Saturday Night at the Mill from this courtyard, and to protect them from the rain, a folding roof was installed. One year I was as amazed as I looked down from the radio studio to see the roof closed over and artificial snow being sprayed onto the trees and the grass in preparation for some Christmas carol singing. Nothing wrong in that, of course, except the fact there was real snow falling on the closed folding roof. Finally, 2 little Christmas miracles. One year I devised a version of the 9 lessons and carols called The Story and the Songs. It featured the Christmas story told and sung by local schoolchildren, and I joyfully travelled all over the area recording some wonderful and original carols and stories written and sung by the pupils and their teachers. But in the end I had only 8 carols. I announced this over the air in early December, and within a week I had heard from a school in Druids Heath which had written a new carol just for the radio, and in the nick of time I was able to tape it for inclusion in the festive broadcast. Finally, one of what we're nowadays obliged to call the big community operations. I was presenting the Christmas morning programme live and taking festive phone calls from listeners. One lady called in great distress from Sturchley. She couldn't cook her turkey, she said. Her stove had broken down. Within minutes, another lady from nearby Cotteridge telephoned in to say she'd already cooked her turkey, and if the First Lady would like to call round to her house, she could cook her Christmas meal on her stove. That little miracle almost made up for my having had to leave my home that morning before my children were awake to once again be on the air on Christmas Day. A peaceful Christmas to you.